Welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, having a great conversation with Dr. Brian Lee Crowley. He is the managing director of the Macdonald-Laurier Institute think tank in Ottawa. Brian, as I said just before the break, most likely an election year, 2025. What do you see as the kind of the major issues and how that could frame the election debate in 2025?
Well, let's talk for a minute about the political parties because they're the ones who are the players on this electoral stage. Uh, if we look at the Liberals, uh, you know, my take on it, for what it's worth, is that this government has now entered the same stage that the Kathleen Wynne government, for example, entered in its dying days in Ontario. And what I saw then and what I'm seeing again now is that people have made their decision about the Liberals. They have stopped listening. And the Liberals keep trying to sort of wave their arms and say, look over here, we have something we want to say to you. And we're going to give you a $250 check, and we're going to give you a GST tax holiday. And, there's a long list of goodies that they're throwing in people's path in order to get them to revisit this decision they've made not to think about the Liberals and not to want to vote for them. And what I'm seeing, and I think this is reflected in poll after poll after poll, is people are, look, if Justin's going to send them a $250 check, they're going to cash it.
Sure.
They're going to spend it. But if he thinks this is making them revisit their current disillusionment with and distaste for the Liberal Party, I think he's quite wrong. And he's dragging. This is why Christian Freeman left. He's dragging the finances of the government of Canada down for no benefit to his party and to the great cost of the country. So, I mean, when we see in a year's worth and more of polling, so not just an individual poll, but every poll from every pollster saying basically a 20 percentage point difference between support for the Tories were around 43% and the Liberals around 23% or thereabout. This is no statistical anomaly. This
No.
is a settled opinion on the part of Canadians. So now I have to say that if we're thinking about what an election might look like, uh, I think Justin thinks that Donald Trump and the Donald Trump presidency is
Mhm.
a lifeline for him. He is
Right.
going to try to demonize Donald Trump, and he's going to try and present the conservatives as, I don't know, Trump light or, MAGA conservatives, as they often call them. Um, my sense is this has got no traction. And in fact, the polls seem to be suggesting that while Canadians aren't entirely sure what to do about the Trump presidency, they have little confidence that Justin Trudeau is the right person to conduct Canada's relationship with Justin Trudeau. So I think we're going to see the Liberals continue to flail. I think the Conservatives are going to keep relatively quiet. I think they're going to take Napoleon's advice, which is don't interrupt your enemy while he's making a mistake. The Liberals are doing themselves far more damage than any opposition party could do to
That's
them.
right. Yeah.
So the Tories are I think going to be relatively quiet and just say we're not this other guy,
Yeah,
right?
exactly, exactly. We've got just over a minute left. I would just love to get a sense of some of the other work on the horizon for Macdonald-Laurier Institute. What are you guys working on these days?
Well, the most important thing in my book is we've started something called the Promised Land Project, which is about anti-Semitism, the conflict in the Middle East, anti-extremism, and so on. I have to say, Tony, I've been terribly disappointed to see the evolution of Canada on these issues over the last year since the terrible events of the 7th of October. I never thought I would see a day in Canada when Jewish neighborhoods would be barricaded and entire university campuses taken over by Hamas sympathizers and on and on. We have a lot of work to do
Right.
to get Canadians up to speed on the real significance of what's happening in Israel and the Middle East and to combat anti-Semitism in Canada.
I'm glad you're doing that work. And Brian Lee Crowley, thanks for coming on today. It's been a great way to end this year and to look forward to the next year. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much, Tony.